Hello. You would have seen if you're following Apple the new Mac Pro, the cylindrical shaped one. I will be comparing last year's Mac Pro to my custom built PC. Not the new one, since we don't have enough specs of a new Mac Pro. So whatever it says, to be comparing the old one. These are specs. Anyways, so the price of this one would be £2,398, and it's refurbished, so it's not brand new, just refurbished. And that's £2,400. My custom built PC is £2,500, but it also includes a full HD monitor, keyboard, gaming mouse, speakers, controller, and stuff. So that's a bit overpriced, but again, it's a server, 8 gigs of RAM. So we'll be comparing this to mine. So let's look at the specifications. So we'll be caring about most likely the processor first. So it's an Intel Bloomfield Xeon W365 clocked at 3.2. So that would be against my i7 4770K. It's not really a consumer chip since I've overclocked that as well to 4.1, but we will be comparing the 3.5 GHz version to make it more comparable. And since you can't normally buy overclocked pre-built i7s with 3.5 GHz. So we have these versus the i7. We'll look at CPU boss and see which one's better. It's already 8.1 versus 6.8, but let's look at the actual performance. So here, obviously the i7's newer, so it would be better, but the performance per dollar is even better as well. The power consumption is the same, so you actually get more performance for the same amount of power. 8.9 versus 7.0. Using Pulsemark and Geekbench. Pulsemark single core, it's beaten in every single, except tie here, but that's supposed to be tied. The winner would obviously be the i7, but that's newer. There aren't any advantages between the Xeon W3565. I mean, this is not Apple's fault since the i7 is obviously newer, and we're really just putting Intel against Intel. A 22 nanometer process is newer than the 45, so it's a smaller die. We've tried to get transistors. It's a cooler running processor, so that's good. It has a built-in GPU, yes, but versus no, so you need a discrete GPU. Most the i7 does not. But again, I don't even use the built-in GPU. Not many people do. It has a higher turbo clock speed, which is 15% higher. Higher clock speed, around 10%. Not much of a difference actually. Significantly better Pulsemark score. Twice 55% better Pulsemark single score. Lower typical power consumption. Typical, so not max, not on load like it showed us here. It's the same. Better Geekbench 32-bit. Newer, but that doesn't really matter. Performance per watt. Twice, 2.2 times. Better performance per dollar, which is also better. Lower annual energy cost, blah blah blah. Well, we should have concentrate on that. 73.58 versus 113, which is 35% lower than the Xeon. Benchmarks the i7 specs. 3.2 quad core. They're both hyper-threaded and they're both quad core, so they both have like 8 threads. The Mac CPU uses 1, since it uses an LGA 1155 versus 1150. and GPU's Intel HD graphics for 600 for the i7. 130 watts versus 84 watts. Unload. Built-in has DDR3 1066 Max, while this has 1600, which is a big difference. 25599 is same as 25600 pretty much. Maximum memory is only 24 gigs, while this has 32 gigs. Obviously, because I actually put 32 gigs in. But however, the Xeon has triple channel, while this has dual channel, which is basically better than the dual channel memory. So it's obvious that in the processors, the i7 is better than the Mac Pro. That's the processor base, because you're getting a processor base. Discrete GPU, okay. For this will be base discrete GPU brand Radeon HD 5770 with 1GB of RAM. Start that off. I've got a Radeon HD 7970 GHz edition Vapor X with 3GB of GDDR5 RAM. So that's more RAM. It obviously has a bigger number, but that doesn't really matter. You have to compare the actual performance. So we can go on bench. Check out. So that would be the 5770 versus the 770 GHz edition. Well, in every single scenario, the 7970 GHz wins by a landslide. So that's pretty good. What else can you do? Well, let's basically go on. Here is lower is better, so it's higher is better here, and lower is better. This is much lower than the 703 milliseconds, but it's milliseconds, so it takes less than a second amount of watt. So in everything, it's better. Lower. Here, it's actually the 5770 is much better. It's twice as good as the 7970 gigahertz. Lower temperature on idle, low GPU temperatures, lower on the 5770, and it's much quieter, which is good. So overall, I think you have to give it to the gigahertz edition. So you can check the memory. Okay, base RAM size would be 3 gigabytes. Now we'll compare this one since it's the actual price, 2,398. So that has 8 gigabytes of DDR3. So if assuming that Intel Xeons in this, we can go up to 1066 megahertz. So let's so it's pretty easy to compare that. I'm just using Google for everything. No, benchmarks. Now let's check on that, because I really do have a nice 7, don't I? Benchmarks. Okay, 1066 versus 1600. There's an obviously big thing, but it's size of under memory bandwidth, so it's just bandwidth. Memory latency is also larger on the 1600. I mean the 1066. And it also has 4 times more RAM, 32 gigabytes. 2000, so 2 terabyte HDD. How much does this have? 2 terabytes, yeah. But it also has a 250 gigabyte SSD, which is much faster than a HDD. Is there anything else we need to compare? Nope. So if we check out here, it's this wins. So put a W, 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 W. Nope, actually it's a draw. W, W. Price, it's including the monitor, keyboard, gaming mouse, speakers, controller, and such. So we have to actually factor in, if you wanted to be a proper price comparison, a 27-inch Apple Cinema display and stuff. Okay, what does it come with though? Okay, so doesn't really say anywhere, so we'll have to pick out the Apple keyboards themselves. £44. Okay, fine, £44. So that would be well, that would be like 2,398 plus 44 would be like 2,450 plus a Magic Mouse or Mighty Mouse. Wait, which one's cheaper? So the wired mounting mouse is £43 versus the 52. As this is wireless and my mouse is wireless, it would be 43 quid again. So that's £100. So in the end, the Mac Pro is more expensive and lower performance than a custom built PC that runs an i7.